By the end of this video, you'll be able to copy and paste this exact same ad directly into your marketing agency or coaching business that currently books me 18 qualified sales calls every single day on complete autopilot. Now, you may have seen this ad, and if you have, you would have noticed it's kind of ugly. It's recorded in some bedroom, and it's also recorded on an iPhone. The audio is terrible. You can kind of tell the person in the video is reading from a script as well. And also you can tell, obviously, the person in the video isn't me. However, with all that being said, this has been our highest performing ad for the last 6 months. Again, not because it's really high production or it looks really nice or anything like that. It's actually very simply because of 2 reasons. And if you copy these 2 things into your own ad, you will be able to book qualified sales calls consistently every single day without fail. Now, the second reason is actually more important than the first reason, but I do need to go through the first reason because at the end of the day, everyone else is doing reason number 1. And so if you don't, then you're just immediately going to be disregarded. However, if you do it, you can't just rely on that thing getting you the results. So you probably already guessed it. Reason number 1 is the offer. Now, again, I know, don't click away from the video just yet. Everyone and their grandmother is currently running big, sexy offers. Everyone's guaranteeing the world and all this stuff, right? And we're one of them. Quite frankly, we are. However, I will be honest, offers do significantly help your results. Can you get away with not running an offer? Sure. Are your costs going to be significantly higher? Yes. So if you want the most qualified bookings at the best costs, I highly recommend that you have an offer. But bear in mind, I'm not telling you to do anything. You can go and do whatever it is that you want. I'm just showing you exactly what's worked for us. And I'll show you this ad here in a minute. I'll play the video so you can see how everything we're about to go through right now plays out in the actual live ad. But again, the first reason why this ad performs so well, and it continues to perform every single day. I mean, already it's currently 10:40 a.m. for me, and we've already booked 8 calls today. I checked before recording the video. Already we booked 8 calls from this ad. It's been running. This is an ad we created 7 or 8 months ago. So going back to the 2 reasons why it works so well. Number 1, the offer. When creating the offer, this is what we do for ourselves. It's what we get all of our clients to do because it simply works. There's 2 major focus points you ought to have when creating what we call your acquisition offer. Number 1 is we need to identify a market or a TAM, total addressable market, that has at least 25,000 or more of your ideal clients in it. So let me give you an example of the inverse. We had a client, they came on board probably 2 years ago. At this point, we ended up refunding and parting ways because we just didn't deliver results. And the reason why was because this particular client served a certain type of bowling alley in the US. Now, when we ran the numbers on this market, we realized actually, I think from memory, there was like 3,700, 4,000 of these certain types of bowling alleys in the US. And the problem was he had a lead list of all of those bowling alleys because it was only a 3,700 lead list, right? It wasn't huge. So he had a lead list. We ended up running ads directly to that lead list, and we probably ran them for maybe a week to 2 weeks. He got really, really good results. But then at that point, there was no one else to market to because we'd hit everyone who was interested in the offer and booked in a call and bought, and everyone else weren't interested. So that was that. So no matter what we did in that instance, no matter how good the offer was, no matter how good the ads were, etc., the funnel, etc., we could never have scaled that offer because the TAM, the total addressable market, was just far too small. So you need to start with identifying a big enough market, but not too big to where your messaging becomes diluted and you're trying to speak to everyone. As you've probably heard thousands of times, a man who chases 2 rabbits catches none. You don't want to try and speak to everyone, but you also don't want to speak too specific to someone where there's not enough of that ideal client so that you can actually scale your ads, right? So I found anywhere between 25,000 and 100,000 market size in terms of ideal clients is the perfect size, because any bigger than that, we need to bring the messaging more specific. Any smaller than that, it's not big enough to scale. So that's focus number 1 when it comes to the offer. Now, because we have a specific, tightly identified person that we're now going after, the second step to creating the perfect offer is literally, it's so simple. You just need to ask yourself, what does that particular person want? That's it. And with every market that you go after, there is always something that market can't stop thinking about. And the more specific you can be with that outcome, the better the offer will perform. So for example, if you think about any type of business, right? And by the way, this applies if you're a B2C coach, for example, but let's just think about businesses for now. Any type of business, if we think about, okay, ultimately, what do they want? Of course, every business wants to make more money, right? Great. So you could think about it in that way. You could go, well, every business wants more money. I'll just promise to make them more money. Okay, that might work depending on the industry, depending on how saturated the industry is, depending on how much that industry has been exposed to other types of offers in the past. But what could make that offer so much better is if you go, okay, specifically, okay, this business, yes, they want to make more money. The better question to ask is, what's the metric that drives revenue for that business? So instead of thinking about the broad revenue desire, which again is evident in every market. Okay, for this particular market, for our TAM, what's the particular metric that drives revenue? So if we take, I just got done working with a dental client who has a marketing agency in the dental space, right? Think about the difference here. So dental practices, what do they want more of? Revenue, sure. But when we think about what's the metric that drives the most revenue, the most profitable revenue for dental practices, actually, it's not, teeth whitening. They're very low AOV. You need a lot of those patients to be able to actually make money. It's not like, general checkups. No dental or no doctor or dentist enjoys doing general checkups. The things that drive the most revenue for dental practices is either implants, it's either, like Invisalign. It's these certain types of services that are extremely high ticket, high margins, and typically because they're high ticket, that the patients who come in for those are the best type of patient to work with as well. So in that instance, you would want to focus your offer around, in that case, implants. Let's say we'll get you X amount more implants on a monthly basis. Same thing goes for any type of, for example, home service type of industry, right? There's always jobs that, if we think about roofers, this is another great example, roofers, right? A lot of roofers will do roof replacements and they'll do roof repairs. So if the roof breaks or whatever, they'll go out and repair that roof. But as I'm sure you can guess, roofers want more roof replacements than they do roof repairs, because roof repairs are typically lower ticket, the smaller jobs. You need to do a lot more of them to be actually able to make more revenue, right? Whereas a roof replacement, never had my roof replaced, but there you could be looking at $100,000 job, just one customer, 100 grand. So if in that instance, what would they rather? Do 10 jobs to make 100 grand or do one job to make 100 grand? Of course, they would rather do one job. So in that instance, if you're in the roofing space, the specific thing that those roofers want is more roof replacements. So that is what you make your offer around. It's that simple. And no matter what industry you're in, B2B, B2C, right? Same exact idea. If you ask yourself that question, and maybe you have to do a bit of research because maybe it's a newer industry, you might not know the intricacies of that industry, that's fine. But do your research, figure out what's the one thing that this market wants, and simply guarantee them that outcome. It's that simple. And so as you'll see in a minute when I show you this ad, that's one of the biggest drivers that actually makes this ad work. And we run ads for, hundreds of clients, again, in B2B, B2C, every single industry you can imagine. And this is always our first step with any new client that we bring on board. We focus on and we figure out what is going to be the offer that we're going to basically advertise to this particular coach or agency, right? As you know, that's pretty common. Everybody knows about creating good offers and whatever else. Okay, great. I had to say that because that is a big reason why this ad works so well. However, reason 2 is exponentially more important and more impactful and more powerful if you get it right. So reason 2 is what I call the appeal. Now, a lot of people have different names for it. People refer to this as the appeal. They refer to it as the unique mechanism. They refer to it as the unique selling point, or like the USP. It doesn't really matter what you call it. What's important is you understand it and you apply it to your own offer. So how I think about my appeal is almost like 2 pillars, okay? One pillar, on one side, you've got your market. So you've got your ideal client, the people that you're running the ads to, right? You're trying to go after. Great. The other side of it is you've got your fulfillment, your service, your actual business that you're trying to sell. The appeal, or how you create your appeal, is simply by looking at what is the market that I'm trying to go after. What are they exposed to on a daily basis? What do they see a lot of? Number 1. Number 2, what have they tried in the past, right? Every single market that you could potentially go after, for the most part. Of course, you can go after unaware and you can try and install the desire into the market to get them to want what it is that you have. Or the much easier approach is you just simply go after the guys who already want what you had and you just need to sell them on why you're the best option, right? And most of the time when you have a sexy offer like, point 1, we created a really good offer, most of the time that is going to resonate with the people who are what we call solution aware. And most of the time that's going to resonate with what we call markets who are problem aware. So they know they have a problem and they actively are wanting either a particular solution or they're just wanting to solve the problem. Either one, your offer is going to speak to those people. Now, when we think about those types of people, you need to realize, like I said before, they have been exposed to either other sales messages in the past, either actively right now, every single day, they're seeing a ton of other ads similar to the one that you're going to create, which is fine. That's not a problem. But we need to accept the fact that they've been exposed to a lot of other potential solutions in the past. Also, certain markets, they've tried a lot of other solutions. Maybe, if you're an agency, they've tried other agencies in the past, or if you're a coach, a lot of the time, the particular market you're going after has tried a lot of other coaches. This is why typically, if you've taken any number of sales posts in the past, most of the prospects you speak to have said something along the lines of, I've been burned, I tried XYZ solution, they didn't work, whatever it is, right? This is because they've tried to solve their problem in the past and nothing's ever worked, okay? So we need to list, literally, like write out on a Google Doc, all the things they've tried in the past, or the things that they're exposed to on a daily basis, or at the very least, the quote stuff that they know about that's in relation to your service. So for example, with me, right? Our service, what we do for our clients is we run their Facebook ads. Nothing sexy, nothing unique, nothing new, right? But that's what we do. So when I think about our market, I write out all of the things that either, again, my market has tried in the past or they've been exposed to. Now, in my case, one of those things is our exact service that a lot of our clients that we work with have either tried ads in the past or are currently running ads and they're not working, right? But they are very aware of our service. Now, here's where the appeal comes in. When we think about your business, we need to try and figure out a way to make what it is that you do appealing or unique and new to your market. And so when you have these two things, you know what the market's tried or exposed to, and you know obviously what it is that you do, we need to pick something out of what it is that you do that's going to be appealing to the market based on what they know. So here's the thing. If my market was, say, let's say it's local retail stores, okay? So think about like your local clothes shop that's not obviously a big name brand, it's just a local corner store, or even cafes, right? That's probably an easier one actually. Let's think of cafes, okay? Most cafes out there haven't gone deep down the rabbit hole of running Facebook ads. So in that instance, because I know they haven't probably been exposed to like that many sales messages that talk about Facebook ads, they probably haven't tried a lot of Facebook ads in the past. And even if they have, they may have dabbled in it like once, maybe a couple years ago. They probably didn't get great results and they never really thought about it ever since, right? Well, based on that market and my service, I know my appeal in that instance will be Facebook ads. That is my unique mechanism. That is the thing that I'm going to sell. So it's like, hey, we have the offer. We're going to promise you XYZ results through my appeal, through my mechanism, which is Facebook ads in that instance, because my market, I know that's going to be seen as relatively new, unique, etc. However, when we take that same service, or like think about our agency, right, running Facebook ads, we think about that. Now we apply that to a market, which is our actual market, which is marketing agencies and coaches. That's who we work with. That's our ideal client, right? Marketing agencies and coaches. Obviously, marketing agencies and coaches are very aware of Facebook ads. They've tried it in the past. It's never worked. They've probably tried other agencies to try and, make the ads work because they know to scale, they really kind of need to crack the ad code, etc. Nothing's ever worked. They've lost money, they've been burned, etc. Right? We hear that story all of the time. So it's the same business, the same offer that we have, it's the same service, everything's the same. But because we're applying it to a market that's extremely aware of what it is that we do, our appeal cannot be Facebook ads in that instance, because our market sees the moment that we expose or that we try and sell the client on the fact that we run their Facebook ads, they are immediately going to categorize us as the same as all of the other instances where they've tried Facebook ads. And obviously, all of those other instances never worked out. So we cannot sell that. That cannot be our appeal because of the market's awareness around our service. Very simple. And so because I can't use our service as our unique mechanism or our appeal or our USP, whatever you want to call it, instead I have to look at something else, another element to what it is that we do that can act as our appeal. Now, here's the thing. Going back to the idea of understanding what your market is aware of and what they're exposed to on a daily basis, etc. I know our market sees ads all the time, promising them big, sexy outcomes and whatever else. And again, I know they've tried Facebook ads, they've tried a lot of things in the past that's never worked. I also know, and this is why the ad I'm about to show you performs so well. And every one of our other ads typically does so well because I know what our appeal is. So I know our market sees all these ads all the time, but I also know in all of those other ads, they never see a great track record because I just know nobody else in our industry has as good client results as we have. They don't have as much volume. They don't have as big of a result either, right? Even if they have, say we run an ad and we expose 10 results in that ad, well, if somebody else, first of all, not many other people can even do 10 results, never mind, 15 or 20. But even if they did, the level of our result, the volume of our results, right? Talking about taking a client from 100K a month to 500K a month, whatever there it is, the level of those results is so much bigger than any other ad that our market has really ever seen or has, again, been exposed to. So you'll notice in every ad that we run, 70 or 80% of the total ad, we don't run 10-minute ads, but just for the sake of easy numbers, if we had a 10-minute ad, typically 6, 7, 8 minutes of those 10 minutes are going to be purely focused on results because that is our appeal. I know our market, again, is aware of our service. They're aware of big offers, so we can't rely on our offer to get the conversion. Again, we need an offer just as a baseline. It's almost expected in our industry, which is fine. So we have an offer because of that. But if I relied on only our offer to get the conversion, our ads won't work. Whereas because I have the offer, I talk about like our services and like how we're going to help them or whatever else, but then I heavily focus on our appeal appeal in every single ad that we run. So needless to say, if you want to copy this ad and replicate it for your own industry, you need, number one, a really good offer. How you do that? Identify your ideal client, think about or figure out what exactly it is that they want. Like if they could just snap their fingers and they could have anything in the world, what would they tell you they want? Period. Very simple. Then promise that outcome and then hyper focus on your appeal. And again, your appeal is simply based on what does your market know? What is your market aware of? What have they tried? What are they exposed to on a daily basis? What do you do? And then what can we pluck from what it is that you do and almost like pluck out and bring to the forefront and just focus on that one thing in the ads, because we know that your market is going to perceive that thing as new, unique, and essentially exponentially better than any of the other potential options that they have or that they're exposed to on a daily basis. And a really great book to go deeper on this is Take Their Money by Kyle Milligan. He talks about the idea of constantly wanting to be seen as new and not be able to be categorized. So going back to our example, when we go through our results in our ad and we just expose like, hey, this client did this client did this client did this. And we also talk about our own results as well. The thing that we do for our clients, we actually use it ourselves. Even just that in our industry is very, very rare. Like most people don't, what's the same? They don't drink their own Kool-Aid, right? Like they do one thing for clients and they do something completely different for themselves. It's like, if what you was doing was so good, like why are you doing something? Why are you not using that yourself, right? Typical. We actually use it ourselves. And so again, when we talk about those results, immediately our clients cannot categorize us, or the prospects at that point when they see the ad, they cannot categorize us as the same as anybody else, because again, nobody else has the level of results that we have, the volume of results that we have, or nobody else is actually using their own service. So we rely heavily on that. Whereas if I spoke about the fact that we just run Facebook ads in our ads, if I said, hey, we'll come into your business, we'll run your Facebook ads, that's what everyone else is saying. So that same prospect would then immediately categorize us as the same as the last person they tried that didn't work. So what do they think they're going to do to our ad? Scroll straight past it. That's it. Now, this can also, though, as I say, for us in our industry, it's results. That's our unique appeal. Whereas if we had some sexy new deliverable, right? Some AI, whatever it is, or something that nobody else has ever seen before, I would be relying on that. Because again, when I expose the deliverable, in that case, the new, sexy, innovative thing, whatever it is that we've created, if I expose that in the ad, then all of a sudden the same thing happens with the client. They can't categorize us as the same as anyone else, because, previously they used Facebook ads and they used the VSL funnel and it didn't work. Well, now in this, example, I have this new, sexy, unique deliverable that's exponentially better than a VSL funnel on Facebook ads. All of a sudden, that's going to get the click. So that, in that instance, would be your appeal. And so no matter what offer you're running, there is always something. You just need to figure out what is that thing. And then in your ads, you need to hyper focus on just that thing. Just like we do in our ads, they're pretty much all focused purely on our results, because we know as soon as an ideal client consumes those results or sees those results, they're going to immediately book. Like it's almost like a proxy for showing the client that we're exponentially better than every other option that they have. Hopefully that makes sense. They're the two things, offer and appeal. Now let me go through and play the ad so that you can see how what I've just said is actually communicated in the front end ad. All right, so this is the ad here. You can see I'll kind of pause it throughout and show you like what I'm doing at that point and why that's worked so well, right?
If you run a marketing agency above 25K per month, here's exactly what I'll do for you. Number one.
Okay, obviously straight away just calling out the market. That's important.
And I'll install an experienced closer into your agency.
Notice as well how bad this editing is. Like I look at this and I'm like, oh God, this is like, it's so bad, but it works.
That has a track record of closing your exact ideal clients on monthly retainers above 5K per month. Number two, I will then run ads completely done for you to fill that closer's calendar with 6 to 7 qualified sales calls per day. And number three, if you do not close at least.
Okay, so what I want to draw attention to there is that this ad in total length is 2 minutes 20. Okay, now there, point one and point two that I just, or the creator that just explained, right? Point one and two. Number one, point one there was, we'll install a closer. Number two, we'll run your ads and fill your calendar with 6 to 7 qualified calls. That's really our core deliverables. Like that's what we're actually going to do for the client. That probably took what, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. Let's say it took 22 seconds, whole ad's 2 minutes 20. So that's 10% of the total ad. I focused on the actual deliverable. So obviously in the ad, you need to talk about what it is that you're actually going to do for your clients, of course. But again, because I know that our deliverable isn't what's going to get a prospect to click and convert. Yes, I have to talk about it. Yes, I have to, say what we're going to do, right? But I know that's going to do nothing to get the click and actually make the ad perform. So I quickly, in the script, when I say I'm not in the video, but I've obviously scripted it, right? So I quickly, as quick as possible. Touch on those two things, the deliverable, right? We're gonna do this, we'll do this. I get that out as quick as possible. Then I immediately now focus on what you'll see here, which is our guarantee, CTA, and then we go into the main appeal. So let's see how this plays out.
15 new clients per month on your full price retainer, entirely done for you, then you don't have to pay. And
Right, so that's the offer, that's the guarantee. Like I said before, that was reasonable why this works so well, because the offer is pretty good. And notice there, I don't say, hey, we'll make you more money. We say, hey, we'll get you 15 clients every month completely done for you. That's because the metric that my market cares about is more clients consistently, essentially, right? And so that's why I focus the offer on that, not, hey, we'll guarantee you an extra 50K a month.
I'll send you 3K for wasting your time. If this interests you, then click the link below and book a call. And in fact, instead of me sitting here telling you what works, let me just show you instead. This is
Right, so 50 seconds in, 2-minute 20 ad. We've now just explained the offer, explained the CTA. Now the rest of the entire ad is our appeal.
the same system we built and scaled for George, who closed 8 new clients at 25K per client. 200K in new revenue closed in the first 16 days of this month. Summer closed 6 new deals.
What's crazy is as well, she's not even reading the script correctly. Like that didn't make any sense, right? Close X new clients, 200K revenue close. It was meant to say which equates to 200K revenue close. But my point is, the script's so good that she delivers it in a not a very great way, if I'm honest, but it still performs. Again, this has been running for the last 6-7 months, and it consistently has outperformed any other ad we've ever ran.
Just last week with 47K in cash collected. Jacob closed 39.5K in new client retainers over the last 2 weeks. Jose generated 100K in cash collected in 30 days after being stagnant at about 25K per month, and he has an additional 50K at signing. Steve closed 12 new clients in the last 30 days, totaling.
I will play the rest of the ad. It's just all results now from here to the end. And I was also kind of interesting is those results are super old results. Like they're from probably 2 years ago or something. Now our results are like that times 10 in terms of size and volume, etc. But it still beats everything else in our ad account. So anyway, that's why the ad works. You can copy that and implement it for any industry, B2C, B2B. Doesn't matter what it is that you do. You can apply that same framework to your offer. And I know that with certainty because again, we sign so many clients in so many different industries and we basically do that exact same thing for every new client who comes on board. So hopefully you found that useful. If you did, like, subscribe, do all the good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.